I play Citizen Sleeper. Breaking quarantine. When I last left this, there was big decisions to make. And the 3 new areas opened up. So the crew canteen. Deflect suspicion over here. Taking hardline attitudes, loudly arguing in favour of the quarantine, making friends with security. There are ways to deflect suspicion. Convince a crew. With division rife among the tug crews, gaining support for a supply shipment will just be a case of picking the right crew and approaching them discreetly. So what you've got to achieve here is tug escort. This one is +2, this one is +1 on the dice. That's a chance to increase hub escort. That is to reduce Havenage suspicion. Over here we got cordon operations. Repeatable action with a +2 on the dice. Some careful sabotage to the coordinate system should create a sensor gap that will allow the Briar to bypass the automatic quarantine systems. And up here we got the Havenage hangar. Slice thrusters, the tugs have a powerful suite of iron thrusters for rapid maneuvering. If you can sneak in and slice them off, you'll have a significant upgrade for the Briar. Upgrade. The +1. Those are choices. Back this way. Only 3 cycles left. For the plan. So, I think I'll try this one. That the 5 goes to a 6. Tug escort. I think I'll focus on it. Rather than scattering everything out over multiple things. I was going to run out of cycles anyway. So I'm halfway there with tug escort. Now I'm out of dice. So all I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to head down, water some fungus, get that energy levels up. Come back over here and I'm going to rest up or end the cycle. Out of dice. I've been given a crop set here. Reroll. Bit better. Sleeper, a peak is waiting for you when you leave, but they look different, pale, drawn out. You need to come up to the Briar now. They don't meet your eye. What's happened? Not here, Peak has come to the ship. We'll be waiting. Peak walks away. Don't take long. And with that, they disappear around the corner, leaving you anxious and confused. What's going on? Peak. These options are gone right now, so I have to go here. As you walk into the climbing bar's cavernous bay, now filled with crates and containers, Ash is waiting for you. In front of her, sliced open with its inside scattered across the top of a heavy-duty crate, is an object you recognise, Helene's drone. You freeze, coming quick. Pete nudges you into the bay, looking behind you before sealing the entryway. We have to start being careful. You move closer to the container, your eyes on the drone splayed out in pieces, some parts of it hooked up to a slate that Pete picks up and begins tapping away at. Ash looks up from the dissection. We caught it buzzing around nearby, heading for the ship. She leans over and taps the HA signal on one of the removed pieces of plating. It's a Havanage spy. We think we got it before it sent data back, but we can't be sure. Pete looks at you nervously. Ash cuts in. Have you noticed anyone watching you? Any drones like this? Anyone following you up to the bar? I can say I've seen this drone. No, I haven't. Shake your head. Be honest here, I've seen this drone. Ash frowns. Following you? I met its owner. Ash pauses for a while, Pete looking between the two of you. Explain, Sleeper, Ash says quietly. Tell them about Helene, or lie about meeting Helene. You explain that you met with Helene at the cordon, and you tell Ash and Peak about what she told you, that the Havanage Council are debating lifting the quarantine, but they are blocked by the hardliners. You speak faster and faster, but before you can finish, Ash walks away in anger and then comes back again, her eyes burning. What is this, Sleeper? Have you understood nothing from what we've told you? She paces in front of you. Havanage are not your friends. They are administrators, which means they are interested only in their own power, their own survival, their own causes. They divide people as easily as sorting livestock. The greater good of their work demands it, the wider project of the station, the colony, the nation. Her eyes are wide as she speaks, her anger barely contained. I didn't have a choice, or she wants to help. Ash laughs. Help what, Sleeper? Undo the mess of her own creation. She only wishes to placate you so you'll compromise, so you'll do what is acceptable, not as what is right. She's just a counsellor. She is trying, or stay silent. Let me tell you something, Sleeper, Ash says, her rage hardening into pain. When people become administrators, they give up something, some part of being human, being an equal among others goes away. They start talking about the greater good, the systems, the ways in which their hands are tied, or their processes compromised. My mother was the administrator of Hawthorne, and I have seen what it did to her, that noble higher calling. It is toxic. People should never have the chance to decide the fate of others, and those that do, do so at cost to their humanity. Pete tries to cut in, but Ash holds up a hand. Don't start, Pete. Don't ask me to be reasonable or calm down. Thousands of people are desperate out there. Being reasonable will only prolong their suffering. Helene can help, or you are right. Ash turns away. I'm done with this. You are risking this entire supply run just by being here. She walks back into the bay and starts checking the straps on the crates. I go next, Cycle. We don't need you anymore. Get out. Sleeper, Pete looks torn. You have to understand this is personal for Ash. Helene warned me, or I know. Pete looks away, then at Ash. I don't know, Sleeper. I just don't know what to do. You glance around the bay of Briar, the walls seeming closer every second. This whole thing is closing in on you, and the question is, where do you want to be when it all collapses? You look at Pete. And what do you think, Sleeper? Pete rubs their forehead. Should we do this thing or not? Yes, no, don't know. I am gonna be going with no here. Pete grimaces. I was worried you would say that. To be honest with you, Sleeper, I'm not sure how we got here. I mean, I know what we did, but it is like the universe shifted under us. One moment we were escaping Hawthorne, and now we are here, and I have no idea what's coming. They look at Ash. But do you see her? They look back at you. She knows how we got here. She is driving this thing forward, and they pause. She saved my life. So if your answer is no, I'm going to need you to stand back and get out of our way, because wherever she goes, that's where I'll follow. Say, don't do this, or I understand. I understand. Then help us, sleeper, finish this. So we are so close. They look at you expectantly. Hard choices. I'm gonna go with... I'm... in. Pete nods. Okay then, they squeeze your shoulder onward. They slip away to help Ash, leaving you alone to replay the conversation in your head. A certain kind of grim determination settling in the room. Last chance to prepare. Because according to this now, there's 2 cycles to go on the clock. And I ain't gonna make it. That dice there becomes a 4, which is... that's risky. And the suspicion's gone up. No progress made. Progress. And progress. But still 1 away. I've only got a couple of 2s left on the dice up here, so... I can't do much, really. There's a +2 there, so the 2 becomes a 4. But that's a risky option. %25 positive, 50% neutral, 25% negative. If I get a negative, the suspicion will go up again. Try it. Okay, I got lucky there. 1 segment on the blind spot. This one over here is only a +1, so the 2 becomes a 3. Danger option. Ah, too risky. I'm going to use that one in here. Get some energy back. And then I'm going to go... no dice. End cycle. So according to this now, 1 cycle left. They're going no matter what. Okay, I'm going to put that one in there. To at least get the tug escort part done. You meet Peak leaning in the corner of the canteen in their typically unassuming way. It occurs to you as you approach that Peak must have had some practice at staying invisible. All good, they look up from their slate. That crew you were talking to, they nod to the group leaving the canteen. Will they join us? They'll do it, that's what they say. Nicely done. Peak beckons for you to follow as they peel off the wall and head out into the walkway overlooking the corridor. Glad you were here to talk them into it. I never had much of a way with people. Peak smiles and looks away quickly as you walk. You and Ash seem to do okay. Why is that? Well, Peak pauses. Maybe it'll be more accurate to say people never had much of a way with me. They squint, irritated by their odd turn of phrase. What I mean is people have caused me a lot of trouble. I've had people hate me without knowing anything about me. They tuck their hair behind an ear. I'm sure you know the feeling. I do. They tend to ignore me. Stay silent. Pete glances at you. Sorry to hear that. It marks you, am I right? It does. Peak nods. You both walk in silence for a moment, not an awkward silence, but one of solidarity. Peak leads you around a corner, heading back to the main Gordon access way. I appreciate you coming in and helping us out on this, Sleeper, on talking to the crew. And well, you know, maybe after this insane plan is done, we can talk properly. They keep looking ahead, and you realise they are nervous. I'd like that, maybe. Peak smiles, looking down at their feet. That's settled then, they say to the floor. I better report the news to Ash. We have ourselves a tug escort. Peak stops at an intersection. See you soon, Sleeper, and please take care. And with that, they drift away, their head down, their gait changing as they do, their practiced invisibility shrouding them like a cape. So what have I got left? The blind spot, with a +2 on the dice. So if I tried this one, that becomes a 5. But the suspicion's gone up as well. There, halfway to the blind spot, but only number 1 die left, and that's not going to be a... I can only do that in here, get some energy back. So what happens at this point? I have to end the cycle because I've run out of dice. And also run out of time. She's gone, Sleeper. Peak is breathless and shaking. She started the run without us. Ash. Peak looks confused. Who else? Let's go. If we head to the cordon now, Peak starts back up the corridor. They turn back. She has to make it, Sleeper. She has to. A shiver runs down your spine. Ash, I hope you know what you're doing. Options are gone. I can click on the cordon. Run out of time. You arrive frantic and anxious at the cordon. Peak is nowhere to be seen. Then you hear footsteps hammering on the metal stairway. Helene's drone led you through before, the one that leads up to the observation deck. You leap up the stairs 2 at a time and make it to the top, momentarily blinded by the light pouring into the observation deck. Sleeper. Peak emerges from the light. I know she is trying to protect me, but it's okay. She chose. What was she thinking? Stay silent. But what about my choice, Sleeper? I'm not a child anymore. I can fight for myself. They turn away. There she is. Peak rushes to the wide window, leaning forward to catch a glimpse of the climbing Briar's blue XPR livery against the black of the void. You spot the climbing Briar, a glint of blue and white, and beside it the red glare of a tug's lights. The tug crew went with her. Peak smiles. I knew they'd keep their word. That'll help. Peak doesn't seem to hear you, but the idea of the crew backing Ash up makes you smile. Maybe this thing will work. You watch as the Briar and its tug escort arc down towards the edge of the cordon, demarcated by the red lights of the perimeter system. So far so good. The Briar will just look like another refugee ship being escorted into the cordon, at least at a glance. Peak grips the rail as Ash reaches the edge of the cordon. That invisible net of sensors splay between the ships and drones. Can she pass through? The response is immediate. The moment the Briar hits the net of sensors, the entire cordon reacts. Sequences of blinking lights cascade out from the ship's position, the angry red of the cordon multiplied many times over. Shit. Peak presses her hand against the window. Go, Ash, go. As if responding to Peak, the Briar goes into a steep dive, plunging through the skin of the cordon into the mess of ships beneath. You move closer to the window without thinking, unable to take your eyes off the rapidly descending ship, spinning between the hulls of the flotilla, a group of tugs now tracing its path in pursuit. She's going to have to do this fast. Peak looks concerned as the Briar searches for a place to dock. You glance around for pursuing tugs, but for the moment they seem to be elsewhere. Ash pulls the ship in, aiming to dock with the largest of the flotilla's ships, a vast converted tanker, half of its protective plates removed. You think about the effort it must have taken to get that thing all the way here from the inner system. You watch the Briar, unable to get any sense of progress from its placid exterior. They will be offloading everything now, Peak says, both assuring you and themselves that everything is going to plan. You think of all the supplies loaded into the Briar and how long the process of unloading them might take. The bay was packed, rammed with everything you could offer, and the thought of bringing all that to the flotilla makes you smile. You think of the reaction of the refugees, of the welcome they'll give Esh as the bearer of such gifts. You even imagine a smile from Esh as she is showered with thanks. You focus on that as you watch the briar and continue the nervous wait for it to finish uploading. It's breaking off, Peak points at the briar, and you see the puff of air and dust that accompanies an emergency depressurization. Esh must have ended things early, but why? Then you see them, the tugs closing in on the briar. Havenage must have spotted the ship. You and Peak are up against the window again, willing the briar a safe path out of the flotilla. The briar drifts through the flotilla, but it is agonizingly slow. Come on, Ash, Peak shouts in desperation, pressing a palm against the glass. You squint at the gathering yellow glints of the tugs. They are too fast. You both watch in dismay as the tugs swarm the briar, their shunts locking onto the hull of the ship and holding it in place. The briar is stuck, its drives unable to escape the tug's grip, especially in the close quarters of the flotilla. Peak is silent and you watch as the briar is dragged away towards the facility at the edge of the rim, a hole opening up in the pit of your stomach. You look at Peak, but they don't respond. They don't take their eyes off the briar. Even after it disappears, they stand there at the glass, their eyes fixed on the flotilla. She didn't even get the supplies through. Peak doesn't look at you. This was all for nothing. Well, we can get her back. This was stupid, Sleeper. Peak looks back at you, their eyes wet. A stupid plan. We had a ship and our freedom. Now what do we have? Peak slams her hand on the glass in frustration, making you jump. I won't be trapped again, I won't. They turn and rush out the observation deck before you can see anything, leaving you alone with the cold and the light. Drive failed. Left with cleaning up. Helene left a message with one of her drones for you to meet her here once she has done cleaning up the mess. 2 cycles. And in the meantime, I'd have to be working on something like the harvest mushrooms, +1 on the dice, or I don't know, maybe just thinking about, yeah, I need two of the club head caps. I got 1. Continue to try to collect spores. Failed, and I lost energy. Get in here, get some energy back. Go back, try again. A 4 die. Got a growth spore, which is good. Put that in there to germinate. And I'll need another 2 to fill up the fungal beds clock. But I'm out of dice. So I'll go in here, end the cycle. Rubbish. Reroll. Keep working on it. So I want to... I'm going to try and get 2 more spores. That's when I got that 5 becomes a 6. And I get 2. That's what I wanted. Put them in here. But after doing this, I then have to wait again, because that starts a clock. 1, 2, 3, 4 cycles before I can do anything there. What else do I do? Use that one up in there to get energy back. Not sure what to spend the rest of them on. Gotta wait over here. Well, I've got a couple of scrap components I could try self-repair. It doesn't increase by much though. I'm full on energy. I've got 2 stabilizers left. Sure, really do stuff for cryo, maybe? That's a +2, so the 4 becomes a 6. Yeah, I get some money. That's a safe option. A 5, and I get some more cryo. So I might as well do that in cycle. I should be able to access something up here now, as the timer is... I'm sorry, Sleeper. Helen comes towards you along the walkway, but your friend must have known there was a chance this would happen. She seems unsure of how to greet you and looks nervously around. She is being held along with her ship. Release her. What now? I don't know, Sleeper. I don't know. Helen pinches the bridge of her nose. Cordon Security has your friend, and she and her ship will be held in the quarantine until she is lifted. As for quarantine, she glances at her slate. We are working on it, but the council is unlikely to budge now. Not after this. She runs a hand through her hair. This is the last thing I needed. Helen meets your eye. She was carrying weapons. Do you know that? She stares at you. We found a crate of firearms on her ship. I don't believe it. I didn't know, or stay silent. I didn't know. Helen eyes you. Well, it doesn't matter now. They are safely in Havenage hands. And the refugees? Well, the flotilla got its supplies. Your friend has to be commended for that. Helen shoots you a glance, even if her stunt is only worse than the crisis. The reports we are getting from the refugees is that things are stable there. They seem to be well organised. So well organised, in fact, that they have stopped speaking to us. She looks nervously around. I'm worried, Sleeper, about what is happening in there, but after recent events, Cordon Security are keeping the place locked down tighter than ever. No one can get in. Meanwhile, the hardline councillors are preaching in the chamber as we speak. It's a deadlock, and I don't know when it will loosen its grip. Helen walks a little away and turns back. I wish I had better news, Sleeper, but we knew this was coming. What can be done? It's a waiting game now. I'll do my best to make my voice heard in the debates, to persuade members, and we will see what can be done. We still don't know why the flotilla came here, why they abandoned settlements and outposts throughout the system to flee to this ruined station. What little we heard from them concerned computer and life support systems collapsing in waves, machinery in flux. Helen sucks in a breath. This isn't over. You think of the people of the flotilla. Hannah is right. People don't abandon their homes for nothing. What wave is rushing through the system, and when will it reach the eye? Helen interrupts your thoughts. I have to go. The debates will restart soon, and I should be there. She waits for a moment, and it's unclear if she is trying to think of something to say or just waiting for you to speak. But the silence keeps you both quiet, and she walks off down the corridor, a nod, the only farewell she offers. You hoped that speaking to her might ease the knot of worry in your chest, but it remains there, reminding you of Ash, of the refugees, and of the wait ahead. What is done, no matter how many times you turn it over in your head. You get the feeling you will be needed soon, and for that you must save your strength. What was it Fang told you, Erlin said? The eye opens for us all. Not this time. For now, the eye remains closed to those that need it. A shudder runs through you. Something is coming. You can feel it. This isn't over. Thank you for playing. This episodic story of the Flatina will continue in the next episode, Refuge, which is coming in October 2022. Citizen Sleeper. Very interesting. There's some free DLC there. Covered. And there's more to come later on. And 30 minutes on the clock. See you next time.